All right, and we're live
We are live on the Daily 3.
with Michael and David.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? Got a case of the Mondays.
It's a Tuesday,
Oh yeah, never mind.
so I'm going to bring in Monday. I'm going to beat it down,
Beat it down, kick it in the teeth.
give it a double shot in the head, and then move on to Tuesday real quick.
Way to kick some Monday butt.
That's what I'm talking about.
What were your Daily 3 from yesterday and how did they go?
Well, Daily 3 from yesterday was I had a coaching appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to work on my website. I wanted to work on the gospel commentary. I did not work on the gospel commentary or on my website.
All right, you failed. Put it up.
Thank you, brother. So I had a good coaching appointment. Excited. Yeah, a very meaningful one, I thought. So that was good.
That is good.
Got to pull a DL Moody with a guy.
A DL Moody, what is that?
A DL Moody, as I turn down this fan here, is we got to kneel down on a spot, dedicate a space to God, and for a future event that a church planter's having. So it was fun.
Cool.
In a park somewhere. So yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Also worked on my dad's realty upload stuff. Did a little bit of Daily 3 editing, and also then helped out Josh, one of our buddies, with
Launching his podcast.
launching his podcast, Sobriety Social.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So got all that set up, and yes, sir.
Solid.
And then I worked on Hope stuff too. But
Any lessons, things you learned?
I need to stop living for other people.
Amen.
I would not be a servant of Christ if I were still trying to please people. Though I was listening to this podcast this morning about the Enneagram number 8. I don't think I'm a 2, folks. I think I'm an 8.
Ooh, changing it up.
Changing it up.
Change up pitch coming in hot.
Or at least I recognize the 8, that fire within me. And I resonated with this. She was coming back and talking to her mom, and this woman was like 35, and the mom is the one telling a story. And she's like, she called her up the other day and said, I don't think the golden rule applies to me. She's like, what do you mean? And so, her daughter's 35, and she's like, well, and I resonated with what she said so strongly. She said, well, I often do things to other people that I would want done to me, and they don't appreciate it very well. And I've had that thought several times,
Really?
like many times, I would say throughout my time in LDI, where I was like, I am loving you exactly how I would want to be loved, or like do unto others as you would have them do unto me. And I'm like, I'm doing exactly what I would want you to do to me. And people just get
Just not having it.
not having it. And,
Can you think of like an example of that or
any sort of like communication style of being direct, of just telling people, of like not pulling punches,
Sure.
of like in relationships, calling people on their shit, of just like, or just like of, I don't know, of like doing things with of like pushing people so they learn,
Sort of like that, like a good coach who's like tough love.
in some ways. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be really direct and I'm going to be like really clear, but it's for your good kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so her mom was like, yeah, you're probably right. She says, for you, probably the golden rule is, do unto others as they would have you do unto them. Or as that, like, do unto others as they would want done unto them.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot more sense to me, because I feel like my entire life, I'm just doing to others as like, this is what makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This is what I would want done to me. And people always just do not. It does not come across as loving. And I think that's underneath, right? The part that is part of the aspect of that golden rule, is that you can be loving, and most of the time, and I say that because a lot of the time, or not, some of the time it isn't, but most of the time it should also feel loving.
Yeah.
There are times when Jesus was being very loving to the Pharisees, and they did not receive it as love. They did not feel, they would pull out their feeling bat, and if that had control over what was loving, Jesus would be an unloving person.
Right.
But love is not defined by how people receive it ultimately.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
But
that's a really good point.
The majority of the time, if you want someone to feel loved, they should,
They should feel it.
They should feel it.
Right.
And so that's good for me to keep in mind.
Do you feel like a lot of your day yesterday was characterized by that?
No. I think a lot of my frustration is not from yesterday, you mean? No, I think a lot of my frustration was just like doing what I think people would think I should do and not doing what I think I actually should do.
So more like fulfilling the obligation of others rather than...
Yes.
So like you chose to do other people's daily 3 rather than your own daily 3.
Yeah, or like what yeah, I guess. And yes, and I think part of that comes from, I don't know, so I just read that chapter on the Enneagram on number 8 this morning, and or I was thinking about our conversation like in the truck when we were talking about my fears of, or like those times when I have felt very betrayed. So and so I think about that often. I think a lot of it times I'm building up walls to prevent people from ever betraying me.
Sure.
Or I'm so terrified of that pain. So I think oftentimes that will spill out into then like placating or others or what I think they would want, so that it's another defense against them, like ever being like, well, I don't want anything to do with you. Which is really interesting because on some level, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like on many levels, I don't care.
But there's something deep down that is hurt by that.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There's a
that actually would be very painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They would. Yeah. I think of yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I want you to read the chapter and tell me what you think. But I don't know. I resonated a lot within like what goes on in my heart and my mind and like my feelings underneath. And I think over time I've really learned how to like suppress a lot of what I'm feeling.
That's good. Just keep stuffing it away.
That's right.
Don't ever let it out.
Serenity now, insanity later. That's an old Seinfeld quote right there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So.
And that's exactly what happens.
It is. Yeah. And so I think part of it is, and I was listening to a podcast this morning, and part of it is realizing like how the Lord has made us each unique. He actually is overjoyed by how he's made us.
Yeah.
How he's made some people with more passion than others, and other people as more thinkers, and other people as more feelers, and more people who are more relational or more introverted and extroverted, and people who are more domineering and people who are more like not and domineering in a good sense or just like taking charge or of just like
taking initiative, making things happen.
Right.
Like
he actually likes that.
So
I think part of it is kind of learning to. She was describing how David wrote that psalm where he was just like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and I was like, this was written by a murderer of many, 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 many people. like David has killed hundreds and hundreds of people with the sword, like visceral.
Yeah.
Through the like this is not like a sniper. This is like, no, he's in their face, shoving a sword through their gut.
Yeah.
And
that even reminds me of, I think it's somewhere in, I don't know if it's Kings or Chronicles or one of those, but there's that song that Saul gets very ticked about. It's basically like a
Yeah.
battle song of Israel or something where they say like Saul has killed his thousands and David his hundreds of thousands.
So I know she was remarking on that, and it's just like
Yeah.
she takes comfort in the fact that David was this warrior, this guy who had a lot of blood on his hands,
Mm-hmm.
and yet he was able to like still recognize that he was fearfully and wonderfully made in the eyes of God. And I don't know. So I was reflecting on that this morning.
Yeah.
But what were your daily 3 from yesterday? How'd you do?
Yeah. Real quick comment before we get to that.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think a conversation like this is really good, just in terms of this is maybe not the thing that's expected when you think about like, what are the 3 things I need to get done today? But recognizing like, this is part of work, like the emotional labor of work. This is stuff that we bring into the things that we do every day.
That's good.
And are behind those things or undergirding those things or within those. And that's why work oftentimes is so much this just beautiful mess as we're trying to sort it out and figure out what does it look like to work and be productive and follow Jesus in that. And so, I don't know, this is good, I think.
Because there's all those emotions going on in there.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm excited and encouraged by just hearing you reflect on like, you know, just on the question, what did you learn yesterday? Well, here's what I learned from my daily 3 yesterday. You know, I think that's neat. So let's see for
Thanks,
me,
Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. For me, my daily 3 yesterday was, number 1 was to frame the knee wall. Nope. Didn't happen.
Didn't touch that puppy.
Yeah, didn't touch that puppy at all. Didn't even bark. And then the other one was to do some batch editing for the YouTube videos for this podcast. Did that. That went pretty well.
You did great on that.
Yeah. So we got a lot of those done, and then finished that up this morning too. So I was working on that and kind of got a good chunk done.
Nice.
So, and it's probably kind of weird because at this point we're talking about editing the very first episodes, and
yeah, we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah. But they're not out yet. No one knows they exist.
Nope.
So right now, if you are listening or watching, we're talking about the first stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we're 2 weeks deep. So kind of a weird time trip on how production works.
I am speaking into the future.
Yes, very strange. So, and then what did I have?
The third one was going to the place.
Yeah.
You're building to do work. Was that a post-it note from yesterday?
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah.
So this is yesterday's daily 3. So that does not help me. But yes, go do property maintenance, do some repairs, mow lawn and stuff. That went really well, actually. So my wife went with me and decided to help me. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Super helpful. We've talked about this a lot of like significantly underestimating the time it would take us. So we spent almost 8 hours there yesterday just doing yard work and fixing things. And if she wasn't there, I would have been there a lot longer. But the awesome thing was I made a list of everything I wanted to get done that day, and we did it. We did all of it.
You made a shot list.
I made a shot list.
You shot them down.
Shot them all. Took the tasks one by one and executed them.
Yep. Clip that branch.
Wow.
Mowed that lawn.
That sounds
bam,
dark,
bam.
but effective.
Well, when it comes to inanimate objects like plants and dirt, it's okay, I think.
Yeah, kill it. Why not?
Yeah.
So, well, the plants we don't want to kill.
No.
But you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that went really good.
How'd you feel getting all those things done on your list?
Yeah, it felt really good, but also like tiring. I was exhausted when we finally came home and then did yard work here after that. So it was like, I'm so tired. I'm so hungry. And I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. I was just like being there, drinking a lot of water. It's like, all right, let's run to the gas station quick. But yeah, it was good. I think for part of the reason to know that the level of responsibility I take as a landlord is just like,
it's a lot of work or what?
Yeah. But even just feeling good about like, this is what's right. Like I shouldn't let these things go. I need to fix these. Like the responsibility is ultimately mine. And so,
yeah,
I don't know, there's just sort of this joyful accepting of responsibility. So it's like actually doing those things and taking care of them makes me feel good about like what I'm doing. Makes me like, okay, this is an area of my life I'm not like neglecting. These are people I'm seeking to serve and provide housing for
Yeah.
that I'm not neglecting. So, and that's good. And I got to see them too. And I don't know, we have a pretty good, just like relationship with our tenants, just as far as like, pleasant, like, hey, how's it going? How's life? Like anything you need fixed, or just every time we see them. So it's kind of fun always catching up with them a little bit and seeing how their lives are going.
Did you install that thing downstairs in the basement?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Did it go off?
No. No. So.
All right. Well,
it's good.
Yeah. No one's dying of CO2 poisoning.
Yeah. Because that would not be.
Praise the Lord.
So yeah, installed a carbon monoxide detector down there. I have them in their units, but didn't have one in the basement. Sure. And I believe the Minnesota State Code does not require that. So they only require them to be within 10 feet of any sleeping area. So 10 feet within the entrance of a bedroom.
Sure.
But it's like, you know what? I've got a smoke detector down there. I might as well put one of those down there too.
A spunk?
Smoke.
Smoke. We got a spunk detector in case there's any spunky parties down there.
Yeah, people that get spunky or sassy.
They're getting spunky.
It's gonna go off. So
that's good.
Yeah, I think I also learned how to post. Well, maybe I didn't learn how, but I ended up postponing different things yesterday too. Of like, I didn't go and work out with some guys from small group because I decided to finish the stuff at the duplex. I didn't. There was some other stuff I didn't do. I didn't do other things on the daily 3 because I was just like, well, I could start working on the basement, but it's 8:30 and I'm going to eat dinner and call it a day.
Yep.
And
8:30 at night, folks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let me pull up my daily 3 for today. I use Trello.
I use Trello as well.
So that's where I'm throwing my daily 3 down. So I have batch edit the podcast. Did that. Figured that out this morning. Spent a solid amount of time doing that.
Pow!
Kapow! So that one's in process, if not almost done. We got a couple things to do together, and then that one is done for the day. And then secondly, I have to schedule a dental appointment.
Nice.
So that's
that should be easy.
Yeah, but it's not. It's difficult. It's one of those things that's been psyching me out for a long time, I think, because I've been putting it off. So in my mind, it's this huge thing, and it's like, I just got to make a phone call and pick a time, pick a date.
I got to do that too.
Not that difficult. Ooh, we could do it together.
I don't know if we could go to the same dentist, but.
Yeah, but we could at least make the appointments at the same time. Be like, all right, you make your call. I'm making mine.
Let's go get our teeth cleaned.
We'll write it down, make it happen.
Yep.
And then third is to frame the knee wall.
Hey.
Again.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. Everyone else has been hearing about it for a couple days now too. So maybe 5 by this point, 4 or 5 days running.
This is how we're going to lose anyone who's listening. They're going to just be like, these morons can't do anything they set their mind to.
He said he was going to do that
like for 17 times. David's still working on that stinking website.
For like 3 weeks of his life.
Yep.
But I don't know. Maybe some people won't like that. But honestly, it's like, this is the reality, right? Like,
I think this is the reality that everyone tries to hide.
Yeah. And it probably doesn't make for good storytelling.
No.
Right? As far as like,
except for people who are ones on the Enneagram. They're literally getting everything done on their list every single day.
Wow.
Because they don't know how to dream.
There's a jab.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just truth. Anyways.
But I think this is part of productivity, part of just reality that we don't often talk about, and it isn't glamorized because it doesn't make for good storytelling and it doesn't capture people's attention. But it's just like a lot of life is just showing up every day and doing the mundane and
doing a little bit and a little bit every day.
Yeah. And over the long haul, it will make a difference.
Yeah.
But it's not like, yeah.
So part of me wonders is if, sorry, keep on going.
I was just going to say one of the things that fascinates me. I'm going to try not to chase this bunny too far, go down a rabbit hole, but
I'll shoot it.
Before and before and after photos. People love that for like construction or HGTV or any of those shows, right?
Or workouts people.
Yeah, right. So the thing about those is it shows transformation, which is a theme that I think we as people and just humanity in general is compelled by. Transformation is a beautiful thing. And I think it's a good thing.
We do like that.
but sometimes we miss the reality of how, like, the middle, right? Like if you have beginning and you have end and you don't have any of the middle part of the story, that's most of the story, right? That's most of what happens.
Yes, yes. No one is sharing their photo of day 1 of their workout to day 2 when they haven't lost any weight. If anything, they put on some water weight and
Yeah.
they look the same.
Or day 16.
Exactly,
when
where they still look the
as
same.
day 1, right?
Or else day 30 where it's like you can't really tell.
Yeah.
And then the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months where if you saw it every day, you'd be like, dude, I'm just staring at the same picture.
Yeah. And process, right?
Right.
Like, a lot of this is coming up with a process, and the process is boring, but it's this commitment to be faithful in a process to keep showing up. And that's where I think the hard work is to not show up on the first day, but to show up every day in between that first picture and that last picture.
What do you, yeah, part of me wonders too is if we're just, our tasks are just too big. If we're kind of like showing up every day and being like, what's your daily 3? Well, one of them's to build a house. The next one is to like have a great marriage. And the third one is to, well, become completely ripped. And then every day it's like, well,
how you doing?
I didn't build a house and I didn't magically have a great marriage or do that.
Yeah. All those things take work.
Yeah.
And they take work over the long haul. To be patient to be patient and faithfully enduring over time. That's how you get results in those things. So, yeah, but I guess that's this podcast, right? It's in process. It's the struggle of we are going to have difficulty doing things every day.
Every day.
And I think most people do.
I think so too.
That's not what we often talk about,
Because we just want to, because that's not what our society celebrates.
Yeah.
And we celebrate, I've learned this from Andy Stanley. That's what I call him. We're on a nickname basis. He doesn't know it though. That's what he says. We celebrate what's important.
Yeah.
And that's actually how you can create culture is by celebrating what you value.
Yeah.
Because you always are celebrating something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't specifically choosing to celebrate the right things, you're communicating to everyone. And that's what we celebrate. You're right. Transformation.
Mm-hmm. This reminds me of a sort of a value or a cultural value that we had for a mastermind group we were a part of, which was progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Like the goal is not perfection. The goal is not to launch this thing that's like perfect, because that takes a long time to do. And it's almost near impossible, if not impossible.
I'm making little progress every day.
Yeah. And so the goal isn't, hey, did you produce this perfect thing? It's, did you make progress?
We should start asking ourselves, like, what are the things you did do, like mentally, or even just like, what are all the little things you did do?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that myself. What are all the little things I did do when I worked on my website today? Oh, I could tell you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, or even though I didn't touch the knee wall, I thought about it.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you have like a set list in your mind and how you're going to work on it. And
there's a couple new ideas I have that I didn't have yesterday or the day before that I wanted to work on it.
Yeah. It's called a foot wall and a leg wall. And it's going to be amazing.
A shin wall, a calf wall, a humerus wall.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing I started doing with my daily 3 is, so I did my goal review. I think I talked about that yesterday.
Yep. Is
in my daily 3 in Trello, when I write down the task, I'm putting in parentheses next to it.
What one it?
Here's the quarterly or annual goal that it's working me towards.
Nice.
So I have a habit goal of flossing and using mouthwash every day.
I saw you floss last night.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
So I'm trying to do that for a
first time I've ever seen him floss.
70-day continuous streak. Because flossing is just not one of those things that, Anyway, so if I do that, I figure if I can do that for 70, 75 days straight, it'll probably at that point become a habit. So
how's it going?
I think I'm 34 days in.
Nice, man.
So third of the way there-ish. And part of that was, okay, if that's like a habit goal for me for this quarter of a habit I want to develop, part of that of just like dental health in general is I should probably go to the dentist because it's been a while.
Nice.
So that's where it's like, oh, that one of scheduling a dental appointment on my daily 3 actually helps me achieve one of those quarterly goals. Like it's getting me towards that of like better dental health. And so, yeah, that's helpful because then it reminds me like on the very like tactical.
What are your quarterly goals? Better dental health. What are yours?
Want to be able to chew on a steak.
Yep.
But on like the tactical level of the day, like when you're in the trenches, it's helpful to get out of like it helps me connect the big picture, looking at the entire forest.
Gives you the map.
Yeah. So
That's good.
I'm going to start doing that. And
Which
today
is so smart
I found that to be very helpful. So
Really? Already? When you were reviewing what your daily 3 were?
yeah, just from a motivational standpoint of like, I don't want to call the dentist. It's like I've been putting this off for, I would say 3 months. My wife would probably say a year.
Probably a year, folks.
Yeah, it's probably a year.
It's like an ADHD move right there, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it when it comes to the dentist.
That's amazing.
So I have ADHD, but only
When it comes to dental hygiene.
yeah.
There's a great story in the book.
Sorry, I hope that's not
No.
offensive or
Not
belittling.
no.
Okay.
I wear dentures. There's a great story in the book, Delivered from Distraction, where this guy, every day he'd wake up and see this tree branch that he wants to cut down. And then he'd convince himself that day, like, I'm going to call and I'm going to get it taken care of. And then every night he'd come home and he'd see it and he'd be like, dang it, another day went by. And then this author like contacted him, I don't know how many years later. And he was like, hey, did you ever take care of that tree branch? And he said, no, we sold the house. I was like, yeah, that's about it right there.
That's one way to get rid of it.
Yep.
I think that's the reason why doing some of the maintenance at the duplex was so satisfying yesterday. Because they were things, because we lived there. My wife and I lived there before.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of these were things that I wanted to do while I lived there.
Gotcha.
And made a mental note of like, oh, I want to do this eventually, or this needs to get done. And and we moved. So I like left them half undone or like half started or like bought materials for them, but never actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it was like, all right, I'm just gonna follow through on this. So I think that's why it felt good, is because those were projects that had long ago been started and had long gone unfinished.
Nice.
So
Well done to both you and your wife.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. Well, any other thoughts here?
I almost got away with not telling my daily 3. That's all right though.
Whoa. We almost finished without getting the David's daily 3 almost automatically became a daily 0.
I would have nailed that. Nailed it to the ground.
Come on, success.
So mine are working on the website, doing some daily 3 editing, and working on the gospel commentary. So I'm going to launch that puppy.
Launch the puppy.
I'm going to work on the gospel commentary a bit and get more of that done. Gospel of John. And I'm going to get these episodes published and scheduled.
Nice.
On Pinecast.
Make it live.
Yeah.
Pinecast.com.
Pinecast.com. I'll put a link.
Yeah.
If you want, you can get 40% off if you use our link. It's an affiliate link.
Really?
I think so. I think we get money from it, but
awesome. Cool. Well, we might as well be straight up and disclose that.
Heck,
but also,
I do like that. It's also great. It's $5 a month.
Yeah. There's other ones out there, Libsyn, which is like 15 or 50 or so, but Pinecast, for the amount of like unlimited stuff you get,
it's amazing.
For the price is incredible.
And the lead developer is great.
Yeah. You've actually had like personal contact with him of just like, hey man, he's like responded.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Same day. It's insane. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So,
yeah. So if you're looking at starting a podcast or need a place to host a podcast, so far we've used Pinecast and
it's worked out great. That's what you're listening to this through.
Yes. So if your ears are happy, blame Pinecast. And if they're not, it's probably our fault.
It's probably our voices. All right.
What out of your daily 3 do you anticipate to be the most difficult, or the one you are not looking forward to the most?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to all of them, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the fourth one that isn't on the list is also working on my dad's realty update. The daily 4. I'm going to crush it today, folks.
This is bad.
It's a new energy.
This is the daily 3, and I feel like I do this actually, honestly, every day.
Because we do.
7
That's
or
because
20.
there always are. There's always more tasks that we're like, if we get these done, I'm going to do this one, and then this one, and then this one, and And maybe I'll sneak off a little bit on a little break, but not take a break and actually do this task instead. And
I feel like Solomon talks about this
what does he say?
in Ecclesiastes. I don't know. I was hoping that would jog your memory and you would,
Oh, really?
yeah. And you would know because I'm,
Well, he actually thinks work is a gift. He would say, at the end of all things, young man, is to enjoy the work that God has given you, enjoy the wife of your youth or the spouse of your youth, enjoy the food that God has given you,
yeah.
and realize that you will be held account all one day before the Lord. So
Yeah.
fear God.
What an amazing call to stewardship.
Mm-hmm. Because everything's meaningless otherwise. Yeah.
Well, that makes me chipper.
Yep.
So
Write it down
Make it happen.
because it's meaningless.
It's Tuesday. If you're still living out Monday, kick Monday in the teeth and then get to Tuesday because we're on Tuesday already.
We're on Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday, folks.
Welcome to Tuesday.
All right. Write it down.
Make it happen.
Thanks for watching and listening.
Great work, man.
Yeah.
Dear refuge of my weary soul, on thee when sorrows rise, on thee when waves of trouble